Last episode of the Roy Garage, we painted these long tube headers for the Meano Camino with some high temperature paint. This week, we're going to install them on the Meano Camino, and make sure you watch to the end for some tips and tricks.
Let's get started.
We've got our driver's side, passenger side headers. This bolt set right here. What we like about this is it's got this tool here. It's going to allow us to get into some tighter spaces. It can sometimes be pretty difficult when you've got a bigger hex bolt. We've got a towel here we're going to be using to either wrap around the headers when we install to avoid scratching our paint that we've got on here, or putting it in the engine compartment to avoid scratches. And last but not least, we have got our gaskets that came with our headers. Our biggest hurdle we have is this passenger side header. It's pretty thick right here through the header, so we have to lift up the engine and actually push it over a little bit to slide this in. Rather difficult, but we're going to get the hard one out of the way first. All right, we've got our engine right where we want it. May have to push it over just a little bit, but I'm going to take this towel and put the towel along the bottom where I know it's going to rub. There we go. That should help us out and avoid scratches. The second tip we have is using an old t-shirt and putting that around your header to help out in avoiding scratches. There we go. Header is pretty darn close right there.
There's a one downfall of this method. Makes it a little bit harder. There we go. That's it right there. Now we're where we want to be. Jake, could you let it down now? Where are you, Jake Roy? I need you. And slowly let it down. Double check. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is looking good. You actually gotta go that way. This is gotta go that way actually. Drop down properly. Maybe I just had to do that, huh?
Doesn't quite look like it. Well, Jake, you were right. We were a little too close to the chassis on this side, and it wasn't quite letting our flange get totally up against our engine. So we're going to fold this over a few times. I'm trying to remember where are we, right about here, and we're going to give it the good old Jake Roy. Don't always do what we do, but learn from what we do always. Okay, about where it needs to be. See if we can let the engine down nice and slow. Okay, that's about halfway down. Just want to make sure I'm not resting on this header just like that. This engine mount looks pretty close. So does this one. All right, I feel pretty good where they're at. Let's see if we can get some of these bolts in here. Maybe for sure do an end one. Yeah, because this gasket hooks on the end ones. So we'll get the end ones, we'll set that in there and make sure that gasket's lined up properly. And oh man, that's going to be a tough one to get back there. You guys, I know you guys can't see anything. That one was pretty easy. Having a tough time with that one. Got that one. That one I had to do a hand down and below. That one was pretty easy. And we're working on this one back behind here. I can maneuver my hand somehow through there underneath. And now it's just a matter of patience here. Using my fingertips to try and... yeah, I wonder how many times that's going to happen. I somehow got it. But I know Dad said that I'm going to have to grind off a wrench in order to tighten it. So we'll see. The last one I got is this one here, and then we'll start trying to tighten them down. Alright, this header is in and it's not coming out. We got these 6 bolts here holding it in. That back one, I got it as tight as I could. I had to use an Allen wrench to squeeze in there. And you can't even see it because I got it nice and tight. There you go. Back in there. I'd use an Allen wrench to squeeze in this guy right here. I was able to squeeze in through there and get it tight. Once I got it tight, like I couldn't get anything else on it. I tried, but these all 6 are on here real good. And she's missing the frame by a little over a quarter down there. If I have to, I got to stick a pry bar down there later to give it a little more room. It's just what we're going to have to do. On to the other side. Let's go. Alright, here goes nothing. The other side was a little rough.
Oh, rough. Just the way your mother likes it to be.
This side should hopefully be a little bit easier. Oh, I forgot. Valve cover's got to come off this side.
Come on, valve cover gasket. You should have went out with the valve cover, shouldn't you have? Instead, you end up on the ground. Okay, I'm just going to set you there for now. I don't want my valve cover gasket getting too dirty. That's some good chunk of change on that one. I mean, 40, $50.
Yep. Just as I suspected. Shifter. And that means okay, that's first, second, drive, neutral, reverse, and park. Alright, we had our issue with this because it was sticking too far down, but Leroy took a few bends out of it, and now she's going to be tucked nice and tight. Show you guys my makeshift setup here. Make the best of what you got. But I had this screwed in here, just like that, holding it down there, holding it down here, holding it down there. This had a big bow coming out towards us here, and I just put a little heat, came up like that. Put a little heat on it there, heat on it here, heat on it right there, and just hammered away, and it just kind of slid between these 2 screws I had set here, and this just held it in place. Now this just has to be at the right, it's not quite right, not quite at the right angle. I'll show you here. Alright, let's see here. So this slides in that hole right down there. Come on, baby. You can do it.
You can do it!
Perfect. And then this goes right here. As you can see, I can't quite get the washer and the cotter pin because it's a little bit at an angle there. So I hammered here last time. I need to hammer a little bit more on this side and try to get a little more heat into it. Let's give it a shot. No oxygen. first. Then acetylene, the hammer. Let's try it. Moment of truth. Get it in the hole. Put it up here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's about as close as we're going to get right there. Sweet. It's a lot tighter along there. Oh yeah, let's get that installed, baby. Alright, we got a plastic piece that goes on here. And then, just like we did before, down in the hole, you won't be able to see it very well, but down in the hole. And then up here, washer. And cotter pin. Perfect. Now we go down below, down there, make sure that it's in park and tighten it up and test it out. Reverse, neutral, drive, first and second. That sounded like it was pretty close to some wires.
Make everybody love each other. Make everybody love each other. We're all gonna love each other now. Okay? Oh, looks better already. I mean, it doesn't look. Still hitting on something. Still closer right there, but there we go. Tighten it up.
Let's do some test runs. Brake. Turn. Oh no. It doesn't want to move at all. So this is where this rod goes down. And it turns out this used to be straight down, and it would run right in the top of my header. And I had the bolt on this side and the rod coming in on this side, so I swapped it and had the bolt on this side, the rod on this side to try to give it a little more space. Helped just a little bit, but not enough. So I took my oxyacetylene torch, bent this way, and of course this has to be vertical, so I'm going to give it a shot, see if it'll work.
And then put that in. Pull. And then put in the shifter. Oh, I really put my cotter pin. Oh, geez. That is sweet. Life is good. Life is good. Life is huge.
It's right there. Okay. Come on, baby. Reverse, neutral, drive, first. Oh, that's first. Second, drive, neutral, reverse, and park. Oh, numbers don't quite line up because that arm is a little bit shorter, but it works. Reverse, neutral, drive, first, second, first. It's a little hard for second, first. Let's take a look. Oh, it's because it's hitting the backside up here. Backside this. Oh, look at all that space right there. That used to be straight and hit right there. Oh my gosh. But it's this piece hitting on the back side. And there's actually, when it gets bolted up, you just have to twist this like that, and there'll be a little more space for it. Oh, we're doing really well, except for right here. So I think if I smashed that in, I think we wouldn't have, knock on wood. See, look here. Get a little bit of movement there. And then when I put it in gear, it pushes up against this header a little bit. All right, we're doing some fine tweaking here with our shifting rod. We've straightened a few more bends just to try to create some more space from our header and our firewall, some of our brake lines right here. And we're going to tweak this a little bit more to help it kind of push itself a little bit further away from those headers. So we're going to bend this down and in. This right here is why you don't get long tube headers for your El Camino. And if you do, what you gotta do to try to get them to fit. Grab this bad boy, and you wanna go that way. Just the slightest. There we go, I like that. Right there, it's kinda got right there a little bit. And then, man, I think we'll be looking pretty good. After watching this episode and having a great idea of how to get your headers to fit in your El Camino, you're going to want to check out last week's episode on how to paint them up and get them looking nice and shiny. Don't forget, you can also check out the playlist with the Meano Camino in the upper left, and don't forget to like and subscribe.